Your online radio, the new online radio that makes you happy.
The Good Governance Radio. Good Governance Radio.
Good day, everybody. Good day, all my followers and those who have loved Efficient Grace all this while. My name is still Amarachi Mugochukwu, the founder of Efficient Grace for the Hopeless Foundation. I'm with you today live on Good Governance Radio. I hope you're following www.ggr.org.ng. You know, today I am still talking to you on still that program we're doing, Oh Salad. Have you eaten salad today? Operation Rescue a Child, Rescue a Life a Day. Have you saved a life today? Have you saved somebody today? It's something so important. As good as you love to eat salad, please try to save a life. So when we say Operation Save a Life a Day and we shout, Oh Salad, you just know that it's all about saving life. And today we came to you with the Obonga program that, you know, everybody have been waiting for, and that is for the African child, the Day of the African Child. I told you I'll be bringing somebody special to the studio today, and today we have two people by my side, and these are people that have children at heart and they have the society at heart. And with me today we have Mr. Ndubisi Obi, an environmentalist and a social crusader, and the consultant with me that has always been there to, you know, tell me this is how it's done and this is how it's not done. And she's here live. These are the backbones and the people that has been pushing this organization all this while. She's no other person but Mrs. Chinemere Favor Iwanyanwu. She's a social enterprise consultant and an entrepreneurship coach. And she has been coaching us very well. So you will hear from them now. Madam, please talk to them.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be here with Amarachi, and we are celebrating the Day of the African Child. For me, today, to reflect, to ask questions. Why did the children go on the streets in Soweto in 1976? What was the issue that got them out on the street? What was the reaction of the government of the day? Why were they killed? And their deaths, has it really made the impact that we have all anticipated it should make? So I'm glad I'm here to talk more about it.
Welcome, Ma. Thank you very much for honoring this invitation. So please let them hear from you.
Good afternoon, listeners. It's wonderful to be here today. To discuss about a very, very, very special set of people, the African children. These are the leaders of tomorrow. And for what happened in Soweto, it's very clear that if it repeats itself, then there is no hope for Africa. The children are really, really important. If we say they are the leaders of tomorrow, then it is our duty to protect them, to give them the best. So I believe that today we will discuss about them and how to better their lives and prepare them for leadership roles in the society of tomorrow. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Wow. I know I have materials in the house. And before we take a break, I want you to call your friends on phone, copy the link, share the link, because we are discussing an important issue today. So copy the link, send it to your friends on WhatsApp, send it to your group, send it to people that you know that have children at heart and the future of Africa at heart. And you can as well click on our website or YouTube, www.ggr.org.com. Please just follow us. We will be back soon to continue on our topic.
Check your systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Let's go. This is your radio, your station.
GGR, Good Governance Radio.
Yes, welcome back to the program Oh Salad, Operation Save a Life a Day. Have you saved somebody today? Is somebody asking for help near you? Is there somebody that is looking at you and hoping to get something from you? It could be any kind of help. Have you rendered that help today? Please learn to do that. And I assure you, if 200 million people in Nigeria can volunteer to help one person a day out of a trouble, I assure you that the world will be a better place. So let's start to help people as we continue on the topic, the Day of African Child. This program is something that is today is celebrated internationally. It's not just Africa. Everybody know that today is the Day of the African Child. And somebody will ask, what happened? I will just give a brief explanation of what happened while our guests will finish up. They said it happened in 1976. So I know she will be in the better position to tell us what really happened in 1976 in South Africa, Soweto, precisely.
Wow. Well, I think it's a story that all of us are aware of. And even the younger generations, when they get to come up and ask questions, there are so many write-ups on that issue, on that subject matter. And the African Union also went ahead to commemorate that day by setting aside the 16th June of every year for the Day of the African Child, to celebrate the African child. What exactly happened? Children in Soweto, South Africa, realized that the quality of education they are being offered is different from the quality of education being offered to their counterparts in what's it called? The other part of South Africa was Cape Town, Joburg, where the whites reside. Yes. So they were being tutored in Afrikaner and Soweto language. The substandard nature was very clear. You understand? And they could not understand why. We are the same human being. They are white and we are black. What's the difference? So they had to go on the streets to say no to this. There should be a change. We have a right to quality education. We have a right to be treated equally. And unfortunately, the administration or the leadership of the day could not understand how to stop them, but ended up opening live ammunitions on them, and that took lives. Yes, so many reports have different numbers. Some will say over 2,000 children died that day. Some told over 176 children died. But the most important thing is that they opened the live ammunition and that took lives. And unfortunately, the data that has been collected has always varied. And you all know better. It's part of trying to manage the crisis. So that's exactly what happened. And the African Union, as at 1991, decided that that day should be set aside to celebrate the African child, to commemorate on what happened in Soweto in 1976, and also should be a day for sober reflection to know if we're actually done well in trying to raise the standard of education of the African child. And I don't know. I don't think it has happened. So I'll leave it here for now.
Well, you've said well. It's very pathetic, and it's something not too good. It's something anybody that heard it should be in tears. And I don't know if it's because we're Africa, but it's a pathetic story. So I don't know. I'm just an emotional person, but most times I control myself and just continue being the strong person people assume me to be. But I know I'm an emotional person, because the first time I heard the story, I cried like it was happening fresh.
Actually, it was the movie that I watched. What's that title of the movie? Anyway, it was the movie that I watched. I didn't even watch it from beginning to end. The part of it that I saw just got me messed up, and I left the movie. And ever since, anytime we bring up that topic, I'm like, have we still actualized the reason why these children died? The answer for me is no.
But okay, Miss Obi, but do you think there were actually neglect to educational system before the protest, or is it that maybe a politician wanted to just use those children to shine? Because they said it happened 1976, so it's not far from this our generation. I know I was born in the early 80s, so we should as well hear whether there were something like that, or it's just that maybe some people wanted to use these children to shine.
Well, there were actual cases of neglect. This was in the apartheid era, where you had the white and the black dichotomy. Now, how do you measure for one child with this and measure for another child with this, when it should be the same thing? I think the children were really, really, really justified. It's not about a politician. And as a matter of fact, anybody who was a part of that government in South Africa at the time and is still alive today, male or female, should hide his or her face in the sand in shame. For children, school children, to have actually recognized something that adults were meant to have known, that there is disparity.
Yeah.
There is no justice, no equity. How do you teach? And mind you, Bishop Desmond Tutu, at that time, while all this was going on, he called, because they had introduced the Africana as a medium of teaching and all what have you. Bishop Desmond Tutu, who was bishop in Lesotho at the time, called it the language of the oppressor. When somebody like that speaks, he doesn't just talk. He doesn't just talk for politics. So I believe very much that the children were right in what they did. The children were justified. And there was absolutely no reason for the government to have opened fire on innocent children, killing 176 of them. And some reports say 800, some say 2,000, some say 700. Important thing, like Favor said, a life was lost. Children, leaders of tomorrow. So they were justified, very, very justified.
When you say lives were lost, is I think I thought I'm strong enough, but this thing is sending my memory somewhere. But notwithstanding, it will not stop us from saying what happened, so that it doesn't repeat itself again. That is why it was immortalized, so that such thing will not happen. And why we keep talking about it is to create awareness, so that whoever that is on seat that is not doing the right thing should do the right thing. It could be your child tomorrow that will take to the streets and be murdered. You understand? So I think I stand with you. I stand with you. I'm for the children.
Yeah.
I live for them. So I can't do otherwise.
They're the best thing that could happen to anybody.
Yeah, I can't do otherwise. And once there are things that are not working well, there is always a result to it. It could be negative, it could be positive, but when it's not working well, it's always negative. So I stand with you on this. Then I want to, throw another question to you. And I want to ask, do you think there were any other ways that there could be any other way to handle those situations, maybe to stop these children from protesting or respond to them? Is there any other way they could have responded other than shooting them?
You don't beat a child and still at the same time you would stop the child from crying.
Yeah.
That's double punishment. And when you see that probably your child is beginning to understand what's going on, and there are some anomalies in your way of doing things, and the child is beginning to ask questions, the onus is on you to begin to retrace your step and do the right thing.
Okay.
We all are parents. We know how inquisitive children can be, and we know how they press on until they get the answers they are looking for. And
Right.
woe betide you, they don't get the right answer. It translates to something very different, and it never ends well in most cases. So I believe that there are so many ways the government of the day at that time would have stopped the children. I remember there was a protest the University of Abuja students had in recent times, and the government arranged buses for them to go back to school, that they are going to come and meet them in their school. Well, how about if they had done something like that, get the children to, just like they were peacefully protesting, encourage them that you have heard what they have said, that they can go back. If you feel they are not the people you should relate with, you have their parents. Everybody knows that through the parents, you can get a child do your bidding. So what happened why didn't they adopt such measures? Why did they have to open fire? Are they trying to say you have no right whatsoever to ever ask questions or air your opinions or refute something that is not going down well with you? So there are so many other ways that they would have arrested that situation that day. You know, I read one of the reports concerning the 1976 issue, this incident, and it was biased. The report was really biased. They tried to say that the children were throwing stones at the police. Come on, we all have kids. If you don't have a child, you have your sister's child that you play with. When a child is angry, the child goes all out to express himself.
Yeah.
It's all on you to know that at this point, this child has lost it and this child is not understanding. I have to do everything to pacify this child and get the child to understand why I did what I did and why she should not make trouble. But I mean, they treated the children like they have no say whatsoever. And that's wrong for me.
Okay. Mr. You know, you're a man and you're an African. You know, you always tell us that women and children have no say. So what do you have to say to this?
Well, whoever says that is telling you lies from the pits of hell.
Okay.
Yes, women have every right to speak out. Children have every right to speak out. And when you infringe on the rights of a woman or a child or a man, you have done something extremely wrong. No, it's not an issue of the women can't say, the children can't say. They are human beings. We're talking about your fundamental human rights, inalienable rights that you have as a human being. You came into this world with those rights. Nobody gives it to you. If you say that women have no rights, no say, then you might as well be saying that they are not human beings or that the children are not human beings. So to have done this to children because you feel they are children and their parents have nobody to speak for them is demonic. It's terrible. So please, don't you ever, ever, ever believe that women have no rights. The rights that I have, the same rights that every other lady has, every other child has. We have the children rights. So
yeah, the Child Rights Act 2003.
Yes. So you cannot be telling me that they have no rights. They have to speak out. They are human beings. Else, if you treat them like they have no rights, they are going to, what kind of society are you going to breed? They will grow up believing that they can't speak out. Whatever you give to them is what they take. So that should not be the case.
Okay. You know, while we were talking, you came into child rights, and I'm a child rights advocate, and I have been in it for a long time. I remember when we were trying to force the enacting of Child Rights Act in Nigeria, in particular. A lot of states refused to adopt it. They refused to enact it, and even till now, I don't know if all the 36 states has done that. I even know some region that I expected to be the first to do that, but they never did. But after the meeting we had in 2017, a lot of them were able to adopt it and enact it as a law in their various states. And we were expecting every state, local government, town to have their family courts. But till now, even in my state, I'm Anambra, I've not seen the family court work. I've not seen it work. And then and you still people meet inhuman acts on children. You still see people kill their children, their own children. They will tell you, "It's my child that they bought." Sort of,
I gave birth to him.
I gave birth to him, and I would do anything. I would be like, "Wow!" I've seen someone that said, "I bought these clothes, and if I want, I burn it, and nothing will happen." I said, "No, the child belongs to the government and not you." So, if the government understood that these children belong to them, that they are like parents to the children, do you think there would have been need? Because when we say leaders, these leaders are human beings. So they should even know what leadership is. And they should even know what their role is. They are like fathers to these children. And are the people that opened fire on these children. So do you think there is hope for this?
Well, there is hope because we would continue to speak out.
Okay.
We would continue to fight it at every level of governance. We would continue to fight for the rights of the women, for the rights of the children, because we wouldn't want a repeat. We wouldn't want a repeat of what happened in Soweto. So there is hope. And we need to also put pressure on the legislature. They need to pass the right laws. The judiciary should be involved in this, because why some of these things happen is because there are no punitive measures taken at the end of the day. If you abuse the right of a child, you kill a child, you rape a child, you molest a child, you beat a child unnecessarily, and you get away with it, you will do it again tomorrow. The same applies to government. So if the government, if the bodies that are meant to checkmate the government are not doing their work, we have the National Assembly, for God's sake. When you cannot pass the right laws that will checkmate the government, and the government comes, opens fire on innocent children, and nobody says anything, tomorrow the same government will open fire again. And if we that are the social crusaders who are fighting for the rights of these ones, if we continue to keep quiet, one day it will either be our own children or we ourselves. So we will continue to speak out. There is hope. We are calling on more civil society organizations to get involved in this. The National Assembly, the judiciary, every arm of government should be on board. So there is hope.
Wow. Thank you very much. We want to take a break now, and you're still with me on Good Governance Radio. You can still follow us. If you have not been following, copy the link and share to your friends. We're still on www.ggr.com.ng. Please just follow us. Click on the link, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please, I'm begging you. Is your friend or Isamara, the love giver? If I'm giving you love, please reciprocate it, and it gives me joy. So we'll be back very soon. We're just taking some seconds break. We'll be back to you in a jiffy.
Your systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Let's go. This is your radio, your station.
GGR, Good Governance Radio.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We're still here with you, and we're still on Operation Save a Life a Day. Salad. So we continue with our talk on the Day of African Child, and we're still on with our guests. And I still want to ask you something, and so you tell us, please. Let's drive home to our country, Nigeria. I want to ask you, do you see any possible means of such protests repeating history in Nigeria with the way educational system is going in this country?
Okay, this morning I woke up, I decided to do a post on my Facebook platform. And I said something. I said it's 16th June. And today is the Day of the African Child, and this is why it is the Day of the African Child, just like we have mentioned earlier on. And I said 44 years later, 20th October 2020, almost the same thing happened in Nigeria. Our young ones took to the streets. They were against police brutality. They went forward to say they were against the bad governance. They were, yearning for good governance. They went further to say we need to restructure the country, that the education system is obsolete. And to tell you the truth, I think that thing that happened in Soweto, something close to it had happened in Nigeria last year. And when you look inwards, you will find out that in Nigeria, our curriculum is so obsolete. You have a graduate of mass communication, and you get him or her in an interview. You ask questions, key questions that a communication expert should have at the tips of her finger. And she's like, "Ma, what do you mean?" So what does it go to tell you? That whatever she has been taught is different from what she's facing in the real world. But education system outside the shores of this country has gone beyond that. I had to go for a training. My professional training was not in this country. And I realized that the way we go about schooling in this country, we do so much work and still learn nothing. But over there, it's practical. They give you a hypothesis that culminated into a theory and became a law. And they are showing you in reality how it works. So when you are writing your term paper, you're writing on the subject matter, you're writing from the realistic point of view because you have come in contact with what's been talked about. You have experienced it. You understand the underlying factors, and you can say, this is your point of view. Coming from this point, with this experience, this is what you think it is. And you can argue comfortably. An average Nigerian graduate cannot make a good conversation. Why? And to tell you the truth, that person could be someone who has read some big textbooks and written pages in exam halls. But when you start discussing reality, he's very far from where you are. So bringing it home, the same thing that they suffered, that got these children to be on the street, is what we are still suffering. And to an extent, some of our children have gone on the streets. And unfortunately, the same thing that happened to the children in 1976, that is what we got in 2020. So the problem is still there.
This is pathetic. So I don't know. Hearing what she's saying, you were the one that told me that there is hope for Africa. And looking at our educational system and the results that we got, even after is over 30 years or so.
45 years.
44 years now.
Okay, 45 now. Yeah.
Okay. And similar thing repeated itself when the people took to the streets. When the children, the youths as well, took to the street, because South Africa called it Youth Day. So Where is the hope you told me that we have? Where will it come from? How will it come? I don't know.
There's hope.
Efficient Grace for the Hopeless Foundation. So please give us the hope. We need it.
Well, we must always be optimistic. I said earlier that there's hope. Like Favor said, there was a repeat of what happened in Soweto. And, history always has a way of repeating itself. Not necessarily in the same geographical region. That happened in South Africa. We had something like that here in Nigeria. It started with NSAS. From NSAS, the youth began to clamor for change. They talked about NEPA. They went into injustice, inequality,
police reform,
and basically
restructuring
of the country,
revamping of the education system, that the curriculum is obsolete. They had a lot of, the list was very long, and every day the list was growing.
Yeah.
So when the youth, but you see, it's just so sad that when history repeated itself, in this case, it's happened just exactly as it happened in Soweto. The young ones were massacred. The same thing happened at the Lekki toll gate.
Wow.
Now, these are children. Government is always quick to jump into, they were violent. Government never misses that, to tell you that they were violent. But let me tell you something. If you say they were violent, for instance, in our country, when it happened, the NSAS thing, people, the youth, who were so organized enough to know that a number of us should be at the back flanks, picking up dirt, picking up plastic containers of water that we drank, picking up cans of Coke that people that were that organized. Are you telling me they came out to loot, to burn, to destroy? No.
They were so
but
organized.
because our system, Africa, is the way it is, and some parts of the world, because of the way things are, nobody is expected to speak out. But you can't hold everybody down.
Yeah.
So there is hope. You know why I say there's hope? For the youth to have stood up, to say, no, enough of this. Don't forget, we are the leaders of tomorrow.
Exactly.
So if we're the leaders of tomorrow and we're sitting here, cross our legs, and we do nothing about it, then that's the point where you can say there's no hope. But there's hope because we talked about education, you talked about the police reform, you talked about the justice system, several things. So there is plenty of hope, but that hope, the government just has to realign and give the people room to say their minds. When you let people speak their minds, there's peace. It's when you try to suppress them, that's when things like this, you see revolts. But when you allow them speak their minds, like the Soweto issue, all you had to do was call the children. Okay, we'll talk to your parents. Please, the children know their parents are the closest people to them. We'll talk to your parents, we'll talk to your teachers. Just go back to your classrooms. Then the negotiation is now between you and the parents and the teachers. So I think that even still goes back to what you asked earlier about was there any other way? So the same thing applies to our own climb, our own dear nation, Nigeria. We all here believe in Nigeria. I can speak for us because I know that Nigerians are very passionate about this country. But we wouldn't want a repeat of what happened in 2020 to occur again in this country.
We pray so.
I just want to add something. When we said, is there hope? There's hope. It would have been bad if the youths don't even realize that things are going wrong.
Okay.
That's when you say, there's no hope. But the fact that the youths have realized that there are so many anomalies and something has to be done, that shows a ray of hope. So by the time they continue to speak out, they continue to push further, they continue to advocate for this change, the change will come one day. Whoever
Yeah.
is against the change will get tired, because there's a saying in Igbo language, say if one person cooks for the community will come and eat it and go. But when community cooks for one person, it is difficult
You go
for the
eat, you go
person to
tire.
finish the food. So you go eat, you go tire. You understand? Let me leave it there.
Thank you very much. I am so I also have hope. I also
Thank
have
you.
hope, and I believe, and this hope will come. I don't know if there are people that are online following us online. If you can open up for them to call the number, if they can call our number so that we will know their opinion towards Nigeria and what they think about children. If there is anything that they can say on what they know with the treatment that the government is giving to our children these days, because I know that many people don't want to send their children to government schools
I know.
because they feel
Government
that the
schools-
government school has
And
failed.
unfortunately, growing up, government schools used to be the best.
Yeah, I went to government
remember
school.
when I was in primary 6 and we were taking common entrance examinations and stuff, and somebody came to meet my mother. My mother is a teacher and said, "Madam, there is this school." Okay, no. My primary school was Imo State University Staff School, and I was among the set that would have started the Imo State University International Secondary School. It's still a private school. But my mother was like, no, I don't want her to go with this, to start with these people. That it is a new school. I'm not sure that the teachers understand their season. They are still trying out a lot. I need her to go to a government secondary school. Then, according to my mother, because she's a guidance counselor, she says the people that should go to private schools are children that are slow, because you have to pay extra for the teacher to follow them. But the smart ones should be left in the government secondary school. That's where the competition is.
Exactly.
But now the reverse is the case.
Yeah.
You find house helps in the government secondary schools, and you find the children speaking in the private secondary schools and in the private schools. And unfortunately, you go to the government secondary school, you see the reason why they leave the house helps there. The teachers are not forthcoming. And they tell you the welfare package is not enough. I have to do something extra to save myself. So the time they are supposed to be teaching, they're using it to do other things. So that's why the education system needs a total overhauling.
Thank you very much. And that's when you see them peeling a melon in the classroom. Thank you very much.
Agric science.
So
and they call it agric science. Yes.
So we'll be opening up the line now so that people can call in and ask our guests some questions on how we can, do something better for Nigerian children that are going through a lot these days, both as house helps and as even under the government, there's educational system and all of that. So the number you will call is 091-302-236602. 091-302-36602. Still on www.ggr.com.ng. We're waiting for your call.
Okay, so like I was saying, the issue of education. Today, I think today is supposed to be a day to reflect on the education standard of education for the average African child. And the standard of education in Nigeria is so bad. You find out that so many parents who can afford it, if it is not that their child is in the private school, they are leaving the country to go to school other places. So now education has become a big business and Nigeria is the big market. That's very unfortunate. And when I was reflecting on the Day of the African Child, I said, at the end of the day, the reason why these children came out on the street and gave their lives has still not been achieved. So I think it's on us to begin to think inward. It's on us to begin to look at these things critically. Let's stop making it something we come and discuss and everybody goes home and we continue with the business as usual. It should be something that should call for concern. Today, some people are In fact, one of my friends, I was discussing with him one day, he said, why will a civil servant not steal? Why will a civil servant not receive bribe? When for him to train his child properly and give him a sound education, he has to pay hundreds of thousands for a term. Why? The standard of education is poor. So he cannot send his child to a normal government secondary school where it's affordable. He would rather send his child to a private school where he has to pay thousands beyond what he receives a month. And that's just school fees. You're not talking about house rent. You're not talking about other expenses for the household and every other thing. So it's a very dire situation.
While we wait for calls, if they're coming or not, I want to still ask you, do you think there is can you suggest to us what governments, individuals, parents, civil societies, what we can do to save this situation not repeating again? Is there anything we can suggest to, because I see the cloud is thick now, even in Nigeria. The cloud is so thick. I learned sometime earlier this year, the children in Imo State took to the street. I don't know what they were protesting for, but they were all students. They say they were a particular school student. They were protesting in the street about the things that were happening in the state. So, and they were all children from the video I saw. So they know better what they were protesting. So is there anything you think could be the solution to this and how we can stop this
it boils down to leadership. It boils down to leadership. Like the name of the radio station says, good governance. It boils down to good governance. Because if you have a good leadership, a lot of considerations will be made for the things that make a society what it is. I was listening to a video about Singapore, and one of the things I picked is that at that time, the leader at that time decided that for the country to thrive, I have to educate my people. And so education became an important sector that a lot was allocated to. And if they got it right, and Singapore is what it is today, Nigeria can get it right.
Amen.
Yes. All we need to do is to identify that we need to educate our people. And funny enough, Nigerians who have managed to find their ways out of this country and got good education are doing exploits.
Yeah.
So if we go out there and shine the way we shine because we're operating in a normal environment where what is obtainable is what should be available, not the other way around, then why can't we make our society what it should be, so that whoever is a Nigerian will come out in his true form? I don't believe that there is any Nigerian that has no special talent in him. I don't believe there's any Nigerian that is a dullard. And as a matter of fact, wherever you go in any part of the globe and you don't see a Nigeria doing stuff, know that there's something about that place. They have there is this natural, I call it native intelligence in them, that they can always survive, they can always find their way. So why can't we make this our society what it should be, so that the things we see happen out there should start happening in here? So I believe good governance will give us that thing we're looking for.
Well, like she said, good governance. It entails a lot of things. One of which is participatory leadership.
Okay. I
saw a video some time ago. I think there's this national discourse going on right now in the country, run by the National Assembly. I saw a video some time ago. The Ooni of Ife, he was with members of the National Assembly. It was the discourse I was talking about. The Speaker of the House of Reps was there. The Senate President was there, and several of them, the people who are the who is who in Nigeria, they were all there. And the Ooni was called up to speak, and he stood up. We thought he was going to speak like every other person, but he came up and he said what should have been said years ago in this country. He said that look at every single one of us in this room. The average age of every single one of us here is 50. The people we are discussing about are within the age bracket of 18 to 39, the youth. And how many of them are represented here? None.
None. Yeah.
And he said, Honorable Speaker, His Excellency, the Senate President, you cannot sit in the comfort of your office and decide what happens to these people. Now, let me bring that to the educational sector. You are making up all kinds of laws about education. The university students are not involved. The secondary school students are not involved. Their parents are not involved. Researchers are not involved. PTAs are not involved. Listen, when you went to school, the standard of school, and you won't believe that some of these people, most of these people doing these things today, are products of
these public
scholarships
schools.
from these public schools.
Yeah.
Then they get here today, no such thing. They just kill it. They had things in their science labs at that time.
Yeah.
Today, the decay in the educational sector is unbelievable. No infrastructure, no facilities. You see students sitting in the classroom, no windows, nothing. Some of them are looking at cars that are passing, and there's so much dust coming in. There's so much discomfort. But you send your children to the United States. You send them to the UK. You send them to France. You send them to all sorts of places. So if the youth, and I can tell you in all sincerity that what the youth did was in order. They simply asked to be taken care of the right way. So bringing it down again to good governance, you need to involve the stakeholders.
Yeah.
It's not you people in the National Assembly that are the stakeholders.
Yeah.
The children, the young ones, parents, PTAs. So you can feel the pulse of these people.
So thank you very much for being with me today. I really appreciate, and I pray and I believe and I know that those in the National Assembly will watch this and nation and save them themselves, because there is how you will the world has gone so, let's say this is more than jet age, because the youth can develop anything. They can develop anything. You cannot cage them anymore. So it's to save us and to save the society. I am so happy that you people were here to, melt down this program and to mark the Day of African Child, which is the 16th June every year. And today, the things that we're talking about is the 2040 agenda, that every child should live that Africa should be fit for every child. And we have a lot of children that are homeless, and we have leaders who have houses and they are empty while the children are in the street. I still want to use this opportunity to tell them that they should look into that case. And whom you have with me today is still Mrs. Chinemerem Favor Iwanyanwo, a consultant, a social consultant, and an entrepreneurship coach, and Mr. Ndubisi Obi, an environmentalist, and he's a social crusader. He loves children and loves humanity. And I'm still your number one love giver, Amarachi Mugochukwu, the founder of Efficient Grace for the Hopeless Foundation. It's still our program, Salad, Operation 7 Life a Day, is to be running every time. And Friday, we'll be bringing you something sweet on www.ggr.com.ng. And please click that like, click that follow, subscribe to that YouTube, and we'll be getting better. Thank you for joining us today. Bye.